In this episode of a series of tutorials, I'll be showing you how to set up basic platform movement in the Clickteam Fusion 2.5 free edition. Throughout this series, we'll be building upon this until we have a very short, complete game. The series is targeted to those new to Fusion. If you have the full version and you'd like to create a platformer, I suggest watching Almighty Zentako's videos where he uses the platform movement object. However, this is not available in the free version. Okay, so first, what we want to do is create a new application. You can name it whatever you like. I'm going to call this just my game. Right, so if we double click on this, this is our frame. This is essentially a blank level. So before we do that, I'm just going to change the resolution. So we do that by clicking on this bit here and then the second window option. I'm going to make this 1280 by 720 as the default resolution is 640 by 480, which I think isn't great. Make sure you press this so it resizes the frame. Now I'm going to recolor the background, which you can do by clicking on the frame, and it's the first slide here. So we've got the background. Now before we insert anything, I've already done it here, but I highly recommend enabling the grid. So how we do that is first of all click snap the grid and then click show grid. This is under the view section. What this does is it makes it easier to move objects around and align them, and it would just make the process of arranging our level much easier. So now we're going to create our player. So you do that by right clicking or press Ctrl J and insert an active object and just click anywhere. So this is our active object. If you don't want a square player, you can resize it by just double clicking, well not double clicking but clicking twice with a pause in between, and you can resize it, but I'm not going to. So it's good practice to rename your objects so that you don't get confused. So I'm going to call this player. So once you've renamed it, double click on it to open up the sprite editor. Now you can import a file that you've pre-made by just pressing import, but I'm going to draw mine. Okay, so here we've got a player. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention, if you go back into this, you want to click on this. This is the hotspot. This is essentially the center of the player. So we'll click this middle thing here, and that'll set it to the center of the object. Right, so now we've done that, what we want to do is change the movement type to platformer. So we do that, it's under the third tab here, movement. So change that to platform. Then we're going to go down here and change control to up plus left right arrow. And I recommend changing the gravity and jump strength. I usually go for 30 and 90. 30 for gravity, 90 for strength. Now once you've done that, we're going to need some obstacles for our player to stand on. So insert and then do a backdrop. You can resize this however you like. I'm just going to have this here and I'll quickly draw this. Right, they've got a backdrop. So go to this fourth frame here and change the obstacle type to obstacle. Now if we run this, our player's going to fall right through. So how do we fix this? Well, we're going to have to add some collisions. So press Ctrl E to open up the event editor, or you can click this button here, and we're going to create a group of events. Now this is optional. I recommend it because in a game this small it doesn't really matter, but it's good practice to group your events into, sorry I called that comments, I meant to call that collisions. It's good practice to group your events. So we're going to do a new condition and then we're going to do collisions backdrop. So if this collides with a backdrop, go to movement here and then stop. So now what we get is we can see our player is able to move around and jump, but we've got another problem. If we go too far left or we walk off, we're going to fall through the map. So how do we fix this? I'll show you here. So our player's just fallen off and now we can't go back. What do we do? How do we fix this? Well, if we close the game here, we're going to make a new condition. Then we're going to right click, and then go to position, test position of player, and then click on these three here. So what this will do is it will check if the player's touching the left wall, the right wall, or the ceiling, I guess you could call it. It's going to run this. So movement stop. So now our player cannot go this way. But what if we fall through? Now our player's still going to fall through there. So what we want to do is restart the level. So we'll do that again, test position of player. It's there. And then this tab here is the storyboard controls. So it's going to restart the current frame. Okay, so if we jump off, it restarts the current frame. Now, what if I want to go to another level? I'll show you how to do that briefly. We just design a very simple level here. If we put a new active object in, and I'm just going to make this really simple. Well, it doesn't really have to be anything particularly great for this tutorial, but in terms of sprites. Okay, so we've got our door there. Excuse the drawing, but this will take us to the next level when we collide with it. So how do we do that? Well, go to Control E, new condition, collisions, overlapping another object, and then we'll go to the door in the next frame. So what this will do is when we collide with it, we'll go to the next frame. So that is part 1 of the series. In the next episode, I'll be showing you how to set up animations for our player.